Safe. Safe. Before we call the meeting to order, I have a couple of commercials that I need to do. First of all, I'd like everyone to have a look at the banners out in the foyer that our banner painters did. They are lovely, and I think they're on display here for a week before they go up, and they look great. So thanks to the banner painters for sharing those with us. My second commercial is on April the 19th between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. BC Hydro will be shutting down the power. So just a heads up, they're doing some transformer work. It's going to take about 6 hours. Then they're going to put it back in. And then probably in another couple weeks after that, they're going to do another short shutdown, take out, work on a transformer, pop it back in. So it is work that is necessary and needs to be done. Councillor Bushel.
Did you say March or April?
April, sorry. I said April. April 19th. Yeah, okay, good. 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
There'll be comms going out.
Yeah, and we will have communications going out. It just came in today, so
Just got that.
I just wanted to share it with everyone. Okay. Yeah, you would have, yeah. Yeah. Darn, I wanted to share it with you first.
I saw the.
Okay, so let's call our regular council meeting to order at 5:02 on March the 11th. The approval of the agenda recommendation that the regular council meeting agenda for March the 11th, 2026 be approved as circulated. Councillor Bailey, Councillor Rich, all in favor? And that's carried. Thanks. Adoption of the minutes, recommendation of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on February 25th, 2026 be adopted. Councillor Bushel, Councillor Evans, all in favor. Thank you. That's carried. We're going right into staff report. Water course development permit 19205 White Pines Crescent. There's a recommendation that the District of Sicamous authorize issuance of a water course development permit number 26-DP-001 for the subject property located at 19205 Pines Crescent. Can I get a mover on that? Councillor Bushel, Councillor Evans. Dean, take it away.
Thank you very much. So we've got a property owner that has a cabin located on this property. They wish to tear down the cabin and rebuild on the same footprint. But because the works are extensive and exceed the 75% permitted automatically, they had to seek provincial approval in order to do the works. So they sought that provincial approval, gained that provincial approval. Now this DP is our sort of way to make sure that all the documents are tracked. So this development permit doesn't directly regulate what's happening. It falls under provincial mandate. However, this is the process that we do as far as our OCP and our development permits. And it gives us a way to monitor these pieces. One of the reasons I wanted to speak to this one at council is this is one of the pieces that we're looking at delegation for. So the council wouldn't come to it. Staff could then issue these DPs when they're ready because it doesn't have a component that requires your adjudication to it. So I just wanted to highlight that. That's part of the OCP update. It's coming to PDC next week. We'll incorporate these regulations. Once adopted, then this type of a DP would be delegated to staff.
Perfect.
Specifically, this cabin requires significant works to the point where they're proposing to fully remove the building and replace it on the same footprint. So the province adjudicated it, determined that it was adequately replacement and accepted it based on that. It's too close according to the regulations today. So if you were to build this brand new, you would have to move it back. They asked for the hardship of relocating on the existing footprint because they're an existing strata. And so that's what you have to report today. Thank you.
Council, any questions? Councillor Bushel.
No, I just wanted to say, thank you for staff for moving it ahead, and Tom and Val have been before the planning committee last year, and it's taken a long time to get to where they are, and I'm happy for them that they can rebuild their cabin for sure. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, thank you, Dean. That has been a bit of a long haul going back and forth. So yeah, I'm glad, and I'm really glad that the OCP will give us that, or staff that authority to make those decisions a little bit quicker. Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, 217 Finlayson Place report. There's a recommendation that council consider the proposal received for the use of the vacant portions of the building at 217 Finlayson Street for 24 months ending August 1st, 2028, and that council provide direction to staff on how they would like to proceed in relation to the vacant portions of the building at 217 Finlayson Street. Can I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Bushel. Dean, did you want to speak to that?
Sure. So we brought forward this to council beginning last year, but earlier this year, council had requested that we do put out to the public for proposals. So we did that process. We did receive one proposal. Now we're bringing back to council the proposal that was received, along with some additional information about the building itself and some of the parameters. As noted within the report, we do have the Development Corporation currently housed within that property, as well as we have a dental office, we have an information technology office as well located within there. Proposal would be to utilize the old medical clinic area as an incubator for the Development Corporation. And that was the component or proponent submitted that, and submitted those documents for review. And we need council's direction on how to proceed. The dates that are indicated within here, being the 2-year timeframe, aligns with our timeframe for other components we have in place, including our other agreements we have in place. It also allows for council to come back and revisit the future of this property and this building at that point. So that's why that 2-year mark is identified within here. We have other obligations for the property that matches, as well as allows for our dental practice to continue on that property. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Council questions, Councillor Evans.
I like this because, number one, it's not signing up for infinite usage. And in the meantime, it lets our businesses operate. And I like this incubator idea and gives it a chance for something new to get in there and maybe get a new business off the ground. Even if later on they can't be there, it's good that we got a new business off the ground. I think it's exciting.
Excellent. Thanks, Councillor Evans. Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, I support it because mostly it's a short term. I have pretty strong views on the building and what we could use it for and other things that we need to enable our assets for. But in the next 2 years, I think it's reasonable. I just don't put too much money into it. That's kind of how I would feel. I'm in support of the proposal. I do think the next council was just gonna really have to look at that and figure that piece out, but that'll be for them.
Councillor Bushel.
Yeah, Dean, I'm just gonna ask, we have some in-camera information that relates to this project. Is that ever gonna come out of in-camera? Like how, it's tough to make, I agree that, yeah, we gotta do something with the building. But there's still some information that's in camera that should come out before we make a decision. So I just was kind of curious, when's that ever going to come out of in camera?
In an in-camera meeting, we can certainly discuss about what components we want to release, but in an out-of-camera meeting, we can't have discussion on those components. So we'd be bringing them out of camera to have a discussion about bringing them out of camera, which we can't do. So the next in-camera meeting, we can certainly talk about what components we want to release. Part of the components and part of the parameters, the summary was included in the request for proposals, but it was just the basic high level elements. We can certainly have that next conversation in our next in-camera meeting.
Okay. And then just one other thing. So we were spending 50, Daryl will roughly be spending about 50 on upgrades to the roof.
No, this proposal would see about 10,000 that would have to be spent on the building today. This is related to maintenance work that are required on the HVAC units and some minor pieces that need to be worked on that have to be done anyways. The 50 to 60,000, the roof components, we've done the patchwork on the roof. This proposal doesn't require that work to be redone this year.
Okay, and then the other thing, that's just act out spending there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair. That was one of my questions is should we be just pushing this to the next agenda till we have an in-camera and then discuss what can come out? So the public actually knows what's happening with the building or what we're allowed to release and not release before we vote on this, because we haven't, I don't feel like we have all the information or have spoken about all the information. So I'm not saying I'm in favor or not in favor. All I'm saying is I think that we need to make sure that we're being transparent.
I would not bring forward a report to council and I felt did not have adequate transparency for you to make the decision you're making. This information that's required for, specifically for a proponent would be part of the information that provided before an agreement is put in place. Any pieces that were safety related or so forth would be disclosed to the potential or proposal or proponent. There's no other pieces of information that are within that in-camera component that are available at this point in time. That is held in camera and would stay in camera. Having said that, this particular proposal doesn't require that information to be made public to be transparent. It's about the status of different components of the structure. That's going to be for a future council to consider once our obligations with the property in 2 years are complete.
Okay, Councillor Beach, then Councillor Bailey.
To the chair. I'm comfortable with the 2 year. I think it gives everybody time it gives us time to figure all these pieces out, and the people that are in the building, it gives them time to think about where they might go when we have to make that final decision. So I think 2 years is reasonable. Building is not going to fall down.
We need about that much time to figure out the land use as far as what that area of the community and what we want to propose to council as far as USCP and components to it. There is value, there is opportunity there. What that opportunity is hasn't been explored. So it would take some time to do that. That process isn't an overnight process. It could be an overnight process, but it may not be a good process. Certainly wouldn't be one where you can engage the community. Trying to do that process during an election year is not advisable. So moving that forward, a little bit of time, allow for the new council to be elected, be put into place, get their feet in the water, get settled, and then have an OCP neighborhood planning process that could begin is about that 2 year minimum.
Councillor Bailey.
Okay, so just a couple of questions I guess I have on the proposed. Was just kind of how did, I don't know, you can answer this.
Probably Dean.
How did you get to the numbers? Because I mean, I've looked at incubators before, I'll be honest, I'm skeptical of the incubator. Like, not in terms of it being useful, but in terms of it making any money at all. Because every single time I've had it, it's just a tough sell. So I guess when I'm looking at the revenue projections, just how did we get there based on?
So, go ahead, Dean.
So, I mean, the proponents provided an outline to that. They did a bit of a presentation on the incubator. Incubators are a challenge.
Yeah.
Incubators can be very successful. I've certainly seen them in forestry incubators in Prince George where there's some large forestry ones there. Very, very successful. So there's an opportunity there. This isn't a forever thing, so we hope them the very best of success. This is their goals and objectives they provided to you. This is what they're planning to do. This is what they feel they can do with the property. The council will have the opportunity to evaluate that within the next 24 months and determine if they wish to go further or decide what that council decide what they want to do with the property as well.
So, thanks. I think for right now, what's on the table is their proposal and drilling down into their proposal. I don't know if that's on the table right now. What's on the table is, actually the staff has done everything council has asked them to do and done the due diligence and had the open houses and asked for the request for proposals, and here we are. So this is the stage that we're at, I think, is moving forward, giving the DOS the been licensed place for their incubator, which I totally support. You know, Carly, you've got several new businesses that are coming to your sessions every Monday night that don't have space that could probably utilize some of that space. So I'm totally in favor of this, but I think the proposal is the thing that's on
The only reason I asked is because we all know, right? If it was somebody else's money, then I wouldn't ask the questions, but it's actually ultimately ours, or the taxpayers, I should say. So I just wanted to see how comfortable they are with these numbers, I mean, before I vote on it, because if it wasn't linked, then I wouldn't care. If you were a private entity, then I would I wouldn't give a crap because it's private money. So that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, so the board did spend considerable time. They did evaluate this. They did come up with this proposal. They did work through the numbers to provide them. So you have a group of business people that have been put onto this board to do these types of things. They worked through the numbers and came up with numbers they felt were reasonable to propose. And that's the reason you have a proposal. So fortunately, you're in a situation where it's not just some random from the community that's got an idea. You've got a board that was put on there by yourselves that are business people within the community who are indicating this is their business proposal. So there was considerable time spent on the proposal as well as the finances behind it. So that's what you've got before you.
Just another follow-up question. So in the budget that we passed for DOSBC, because I personally think net income is very optimistic. I think if you can break even, that's a success on it. But was that in their budget? The 19,000 is on the new line? It is, okay. That's just something to look at, really. Like, I just caution it because the more we can, I feel like, under promise, then on these things, it's tricky, right? Because you're trying to find a certain set of people that are aimed at an incubator, right? It's a very, I think, niche subset. We've had a private one in town, and I know she's had a slog at that too in terms of it. But just in terms of being conservative on your numbers, I think that's the best thing. If it blows out, great. If it doesn't, then no harm, no foul. But yeah, that's all. I just want to make sure that we're using all the resources we put in to all of our activities as taxpayers, that it's to the maximum. There's nothing, like I said, I support it. Let's give it a go. Let's see how it works. I just like to be cautious about it, especially when we're starting to book revenue on something new, because we really don't know. Like, let's be honest, we don't know. This is a new venture, so we can kind of throw at the wall what we think we can get, and if it gets full, then that is what you get. But the chances are, it's not going to go. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Councillor McCabe. And then Bushel.
No, I had my hand up, but I lowered it. Okay, I did have one question. The $10,000 am I correct in thinking that's just routine maintenance that's required on a building regardless of this incubator? Or is that
This
a
is
direct
all
result of the
That
incubator?
is correct. These are all works that we need to complete regardless of what we do based on our obligations to the existing tenants.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bushel, Councillor Bushel.
Yeah.
Hey, Bushel.
You know, I mean, I just have a tough time spending money on something that we don't know what we're gonna do within 2 years. And it's just, I mean, if it was my own money, would I spend it on there? No. I would, you know, I would be cautious spending my own money on something that I'm maybe gonna tear down in 2 years. And I just have a tough time making a decision when some of the other in-camera stuff, I can't disclose, right? Because it's in camera. So I have a tough time, and I support, you know, you guys kind of both in favor of it. I'll wish you all the best, but I just, without all the information, I can't really say anything until it comes out of in camera. So I have a tough time supporting it right now.
Okay, I think we've heard from all. Let's call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Rich and Councillor Bushel. Passed. Okay, let's move along to application for a tenure over Crown land. There's a recommendation that council has agreed to acquire the statutory right of way from the province of British Columbia for indefinite term over the area covering all that unsurveyed Crown land being part of the bed of the Eagle River adjacent to Lot 1, Plan 14467 and Trans-Canada Highway as shown on Plan KAP 57835, all of District Lot 452, Kamloops Division, Yale District, as shown on Plan EPP 109713 for the purpose of operating, maintaining, replacing, repairing, and safeguarding the improvements necessary for a water line. Could I get a mover? Councillor Rich, Councillor Bushel. Shauna, you want to take that one?
Sure. The district has had an application in front of the province. It's in the final stages. This is a renewal of tenure over Crown land for the water line right away as shown under the bed of the Eagle River. And as a formality, part of the final stages, they are looking for a resolution from council. Anybody have any questions?
Councillor Bushel.
Just out of curiosity, it's a renewal. So was the old one like a 10-year, 5-year? Was it a 20-year? Do we know what the old one was?
I'm pretty sure it was a 10-year and it has been in front of them since 2023 and they're in their final stages, I believe.
I was going to ask about the indefinite part.
Is that something new that they're, like, cause I've never heard of an indefinite term.
This is kind of new for
Force release, or a lease, I mean.
Bridging infrastructure, for example, quite often has that. So I think associated with existing bridging infrastructure, it was deemed to be reasonable and requested, which is why we made the application to them. Likely why, or maybe why it's taken them this long. It could be other reasons why, but why this took so long is the indefinite period and the evaluation of that. But as it's a critical piece of infrastructure for the municipality, we're appreciating that they're allowing this to happen. And it guarantees our infrastructure, which is important for the community.
Yeah, I think it's great, with the NY in place right now, I think this is great. That's the precedent.
Any other comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. School District number 83 policy on permitting alcohol at private events at Eagle River Secondary School. There's a recommendation that the School District 83 Board be requested to reconsider their policy and allow for regulated legal alcohol license after hour community events such as community gatherings, memorials, and fundraisers to be held in the Eagle River Secondary School Gymnasium. Can I get a mover on that? Councillor Bailey and seconder Councillor Beach. Go ahead, Councillor Bailey. You want to speak to this?
Well, we had a really good discussion at Cal, so I don't want to just rehash what we already said, but I guess the only thing I would say is the school board had, I think, done an excellent job of listening. And the only thing I would add to this motion is that if council supports it, that we put in a thank you for them for doing that. I think they did an excellent job as a board and doing their due diligence of listening to people and bringing in the feedback. And I think we should just support them to do that. And that's what this motion is for. I hope council supports it. And we can say thank you to the school board as well at the same time.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, so the resolution is okay. You can certainly provide that and we'll include that as part of the letter.
Yeah.
You don't have to add that to the resolution.
No, I was just,
We'll do the thank you piece certainly from.
I just put a strong suggestion in there too.
Okay, well then let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Oh, hang on. Opposed? No, all in favor. Thank you. Correspondence for information. We have. First of all, there is one in here that I would like to speak to. There's a lot of them in here. So I'm going to just speak to the Eagle Valley or Eagle River Secondary School. This is they send us an invitation every year to be at the graduation where the mayor addresses the grads. I've asked Councillor Evans to do the address this year as I'll be at FCM. But we should put a motion in that we recommend that council continue to support Eagle River Secondary School scholarships. And could I get a mover on that? Councillor Rich and Councillor Evans. Is there any discussion around that? Councillor Rich.
Yeah, just through the chair. I just want to say what a great group of grads again this year. We've got kids that are applying to UBC and U of C. We've got kids that are going as in heavy duty mechanics. And we do have a program in Sicamous that is actually called a dual program. So as kids are graduating, they can start getting their college credits. Every space was filled this year. So every space that was open to our Sicamous kids, you have kids from Sicamous looking at their dual credit programs and working hard to get them. So I'm 100% with just what a great group of youth we have in this town.
So the district of Sicamous does two two scholarships. One is for districts at Sycamoose Scholarship Academic, and that one's $1,000. And the second one is a achievement, which is $500. So just as information for everyone. So let's just call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, the other correspondence piece that's looking for resolution or recommendation is the BC Council of Forest Industries. There's a request for council endorsement of forestry is a solution. So I'm going to read the recommendation. Did you read the letter? The face looks like the.
No.
It's towards and beyond.
She's a personal friend of mine.
Oh, is she? Should this be a conflict? Would this be a conflict of interest?
This is.
Okay, so there's a recommendation that council acknowledge that the forest is a solution initiative and endorse the importance of a strong and sustainable forest sector to the economic resilience of communities across British Columbia, and that council authorized staff to share information about the initiative through the district's communication channels and public awareness. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Beach. Is there any questions, concerns? Councillor Bailey?
Maybe I'll just say something because I think this is critically important. The forestry industry over the last several years has been deeply hurt. And some of it is through, I personally think, bad policy decisions. I think the industry thinks that as well. And anything that we can do to help support a resurgence of this industry will go a long way to helping the economy of British Columbia. And I think, you know, the industry group is trying to do that and try to get that message through. And any little bit that municipalities can do to amplify that, I'm certainly for.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Is there anything else on correspondence that anyone would like to address? Councillor Bailey or Councillor Evans, sorry.
Okay,
Looking at you and
that's,
listening to you.
it's all good. I just would like to mention that I filled out the online petition that the city of Prince George about bail reform. And I would encourage everybody to do that as well, because I think we really do need bail reform in British Columbia to protect people. It's been pretty evident.
Yep, thank you. Anything else? Okay, let's keep moving. We are at public input. And we have public. Super excited. Questions?
I mean, I would say thank you. That's, I'm really excited about the, what's out of it. It's something to try, you know, throw stuff, like you say, throw stuff at the wall, see if it sticks. So
Perfect.
Thanks for taking the shot. See what happens. Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Anyone online?
There's no one online.
Just
Got us.
to spice up these agendas a little bit, put more controversy in them or something. So no one cares. That's the end of the term. We're rolling into the end of the term. Okay, that's it. Let's adjourn this council meeting at 5:29. Could I get a mover? Councillor Beach, Councillor Bailey, all in favor, and we are done. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Malcolm, for zooming in.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
See you next week.